Hi guys and welcome back. Today I am working on a piece using one of my absolute least favorite mediums to use, and that's colored pencil. I've used it some in the past, especially when I was a much younger artist and I didn't have all the means to get everything that I wanted, and I hadn't gotten into watercolors yet or anything like that. So I have used them. I every once in a while pick them up thinking that I'll enjoy them again, and I never do. I always hate them because they're so tedious. But they can look really pretty, and I do love what other artists are able to achieve with it. So I decided I would give it a go. I would watch a class on it, see if I could figure out a better plan of attack, a better approach for it, so maybe I could do something that I actually enjoyed and liked. So that brings me to the sponsor of this video, which is Skillshare. I love Skillshare. They're an online learning community. That's where I went to learn about colored pencils and how to use them, but there are thousands upon thousands of classes over there that are all dedicated to creative pursuits, to learning new things, which I love. And yeah, it's less than $10 a month if you get the annual subscription. And I actually do have a link down in the description that'll give the first 500 people to use it 2 months free. So you can go check it out. You can watch this class that I'm talking about, see if you like it. I personally love being able to learn with this kind of approach. So let's dive right in. So the specific class that I was watching to figure this out is actually called Painting with Colored Pencils, a Beginner's Guide. I'm certainly a beginner with these. And it's taught by Kendall Hilligus. I love her videos here on YouTube. I don't know if you've checked them out before, but she's just very insightful. And this class was extremely detailed, which I loved. It was so helpful the way that she broke it down and taught new techniques because, again, when I've used them before, I really struggled with them. I struggled with getting the outcome that I wanted, and it was an unpleasant experience. But she talked about different ways of building up your colored pencils, different ways to blend it, and I think this is the key thing that really did make it really enjoyable for me. And yeah, it was really eye-opening to see different approaches on how to use it that made it much less cumbersome. One of the big things is that she starts off with a underpainting, and in the class she used watercolor pencils, but I actually just used my normal watercolors and just did one base layer for every section of color, and this went a long way. It's something that, like, last time I used colored pencils, I did not think of this, and it seems really, really helpful because when you do that first layer, that wash to establish that color, you do not have to fill in every little tooth of the paper with the colored pencil to be able to get the impact of the color. And that's something that I didn't like, where I loved the texture of the colored pencil, but I hated that it left a lot of white spaces in it, or I would have to burnish the paper to get it so that it was fully filled in. And yeah, that helped a lot. It instantly made it much easier to be able to just dive in, and I had something there, and it wasn't an intense amount of time and work to fill it in so that there was enough color there before it even felt like I could see some progress. So that was a huge step in the right direction of me enjoying it and having fun with it. But I think the main thing that I was most excited about after watching her class and learning about it was how she blended her colored pencils, and that was with an odorless mineral spirit. She uses Gamsol, and I have Gamsol, so I was like, yes, I am all prepared. I've got what I need. And it was like magic watching her blend out the colored pencils. It basically dissolves or breaks down the binder in the colored pencils so that you can blend the pigments once they're already on the paper. And it looked really cool, and I was really excited to try it out. My issue is I don't have a lot of colored pencils. I have some that are really soft and pretty nice, but not very many colors of those. And then I have another set where the leads were just a little too hard, I think, to really get the maximum benefit of this blending quality. So I found that I wasn't really able to get the full range of colors with the pencils that did blend really well with it. So yeah, I think that it would have helped if I had more of a range of colors when it came to actually doing my work. I think that's probably a sentiment that I think a lot of us feel with our limitations with our mediums, but like with other paints where you can mix different shades and variations between even just a couple of paints. With colored pencils, you have to have that color in a colored pencil, so it was kind of restrictive with what I did have. But yes, it was really cool to see that and to watch it and to see it blend together, and then instantly it made the color so rich and saturated. The balance of blending and then layering on top of it and blending, I definitely have not figured out yet. I think it would be kind of miraculous if I did figure it out after one go of it, but yeah, I think that if I do try this again, I think I'll be a little bit more aware of how much pencil I'm laying down before it's time to blend it together, and then layer more pencil on top of it. And I feel like I was kind of clumsy with my approach with using my pencils. The more that I used it, I think that I got a better feel for it, so that I wasn't quite as careless with it. I was a little bit more delicate with those little circular motions that I was using to put the colored pencil down. But yeah, I also think that because I had this more limited, I hate to blame it on that because I know that it's my own judgment of what I do have, but I have a relatively limited range of colors, and I think that my approach to how to mix them to get the looks that I wanted, to get the shadows and the highlights and everything, it just wasn't quite as tactful as I would have liked. So again, it's just like with watercolors, why I like to always say that it's really important to get to know each paint so that you can know how it behaves. I think with this, I would need to understand the colors and know how they blend together to really get the maximum use out of the colors that I do have. But I think maybe the thing that I was most surprised about with this process is how easy it was for me to just get into a zone, to get into flow state when I was working on this, where I find that with other mediums, and I know that it's probably a mood thing too, depending on how I feel that day, but I found that I was just being able to just get into the zone and work on the piece and not get distracted and just totally like wipe my brain of thoughts and just go at it and blend these little tiny circles and blend more color into it. And it was just really weirdly meditative and easy to just sink into working on it. I don't know. It was kind of fun and kind of weird to realize that it was so mindless. I hate to say mindless because I was trying to be aware of things and making sure that I was doing it right. But yeah, it was easy just to like get into the zone of just layering these little circles of colored pencils. I like that a lot. It was actually really pleasant to be able to work like that. Now, I guess the real question is, at the beginning I said this is one of my absolute least favorite mediums to ever use. So the question is, do I still feel that way? Do I think I changed my opinion on that? And I actually kind of think that I did change it as I worked on this piece. At the very beginning, I still felt like it was cumbersome and tedious, and I just didn't really get it. And towards the end, I was like, I kind of like this. I do think that I could really enjoy doing a piece like this every once in a while. I do really love, and I always have, I love the texture of using a pencil on paper. It just feels so satisfying and it feels like I'm making art. So it was just pleasant to be able to build up these layers with pencils and to be able to have since it is a color pencil, I could set it down or I could zone out and stop creating these little circles, and it wasn't going to mess up that layer of colored pencils, where with watercolors I sometimes have to be like really frantic almost, which is bad, but I do with trying to get like a layer down really quickly so that it doesn't have any of these issues where it starts drying in one area and I'm not over there yet. And it's just it was really peaceful to be able to work on that. And yeah, I did find ways to actually enjoy it. And I think that this kind of technique got rid of a lot of the things that I really didn't like about colored pencils. That's where it establishes the color from the beginning, so I don't have to work nearly as hard to see impact and see something happening, which was exciting and fun. And the fact that I could blend the colored pencils themselves meant that even more so I could get that area filled in and I could get the color just there and impactful. And then after I got things blended out and it was just soft and and there wasn't that colored pencil texture anymore, I was able to go in and add another layer on top that did have a little bit of this colored pencil texture, which I think is actually really pretty. I love when it's like that softness to it, of that where you can see the tooth of the paper a little bit, but because there's already so much color laid down, you don't see the paper poking through, which I really liked in my work in particular. And that was fun. It was great to be able to see the things that I love about colored pencil and not the issues that I have struggled with in the past with it. And I do have this original colored pencil drawing up at my shop. There's a link down in the description that'll take you over there. I also have a link for Skillshare. The first 500 people who use that code get 2 months free, so you can go check it out, watch some classes, see if you like it. I personally really love it, but yeah, that's it for today. So I will be back next week with another art video, and stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then.